Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Joseph R. Wheeler III, artist, founder, president of the ONYXCON Foundation. What's happening? Happy Sunday. Yeah, we out here getting to it as we always do. As we always do. Get all my settings right quick. There we go. Gotta get it right, gotta get it right. Gotta keep it tight. So check it. I just did a few videos for y'all today, couple of new ones. One shouting out our Instagram, one of our many Instagram pages. We have the main page at ONYXCON, and then we have at ONYXCON Style, at ONYXCON Fitness, at ONYXCON Rides, ONYXCON Music, ONYXCON, did I say Fitness, and ONYXCON Hotties, Hottiez. We also have one called ONYXCON Sankofa, but that one's a private page unless you are a subscriber. If you're a subscriber to our main page, the only one you can subscribe to, for $4.99. That's all it is on our Instagram. That's the at ONYXCON, the main page. That's the one with 17,000 folks over there that won't subscribe for the most part. But we got a few, so shout out to my few the proud. It's always gonna be the few the proud. It ain't gonna never be the masses, because the masses will tend to act like asses. That's just what they do. But we ain't here for everybody. It ain't what we got ain't for everybody. It could never be for everybody. It's only for the best of the best. You know what I'm saying? You can leave the rest. You know what I mean? We're not dealing with the concept of money, power, respect. We don't put money first. I'm gonna say that again. Here, we do it for the cultures with a Z or with an S, but I like to say it with a Z for hip hop. So therefore, there is no for the culture. What culture? Which one? Which one you talking about? Understand? So we don't have that mentality that a lot of people say when they say for the culture, and they be talking about money, power, respect, and all this, lame ass one lane stuff that will keep you focused on money so much that you can get taken advantage of. You don't care who's around you. You don't care what energy is around you. You don't care about if they have ethics or not. You don't care if they have any kind of decency about them. You don't care if they act ratchet. You don't care, because you focused on money. We ain't focused on money. We're going to demand respect first, which will acquire true power, stable power, infrastructure power. And then money's easy because money has got to come to that. It's like a magnet. And it don't come fast because too much of the world has been playing that whole money first game so long that, if you're ever wondering, listen to your unk, as the young folk like to say when you get my age. Oh, that's unk talking. Yeah, listen to unk talk, okay? Because you got to get here to understand. You got to live long enough, about to turn 50. You got to live long enough to understand what Unc is talking about, to understand what Dad is talking about, what Mom is talking about, what Grandpa and Grandma is talking about. You got to live long enough. I don't give a damn if you grown, but you ain't just grown yet. You're in your 20s, your 30s, you still ain't in your 40s or your 50s. You have to respect your seniors because they understand stuff you ain't lived, okay? So when you look at the world and you say, man, why is it I did all this stuff that they say you're supposed to do, and I still can't get this money because you're so focused on money. But here's what'll happen. At a certain breaking point, because that's all that the money side of things is waiting for. They want you to get to that breaking point where you're so desperate, you'll do anything for money. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today. That's going to be a little bit of today's sermon. You feel me? We're gonna get into it a little bit. I give y'all daily speeches, essays, if you will, from the doctrine of ONYXCON, from the annals, I got a lot to say, and I'm gonna give you some examples of some stuff. Y'all may have seen it, because we all looking at the same phone apps for the most part, and everybody may come across the same stuff. And once something goes viral, you know how that goes. More than likely you saw what I'm talking about, right? But yeah, when you get caught up in the money first mentality, they can use and abuse and cruise all over you with that nonsense. But when you lead with respect first and you demand respect, they're not the ones who are on the money tip, which are the majority. I admit that is the reality. Most people they'll sacrifice their soul. They will be willingly in the matrix, if you understand what the damn movie was really all about, okay? And what Sophia Stewart gave the world, and that was stolen. And I mean, so what? It's all good. She got her check. Shout out to sister. You know what I'm saying? She got what she deserved. But see, even that, it's the long game. It's the long game. Do you know who Sophia Stewart is? If you don't, look it up. There's still people to this day don't believe she really created the concept that led to the Matrix movies and to the Terminator movies. But it is what it is. And it's too much proof when you listen to her side of the story. And of course, she settled out of court and got, you know, like I say, she got the big check. Good for her, but she did it the right way. She had a concept that she already had respect of her own. She was a lawyer. She was doing her thing. She was a writer. She had this brilliant concept. So she didn't need their money. She didn't need their money, but she want her just due. I'm not gonna make hundreds of thousands a year and you're gonna make billions. Oh, hell fucking no. You gonna give me what the hell, you know what I'm saying? So she got, I don't know how much in the end or whatever and all that, but I do know that she got enough to be quiet pretty much, because that's what happened. You know, if you notice, during the time when it was, you know, leading up to the case and what may be pending, it was time to hit the news with it. But then after things settled, now you don't hear nothing no more. But we all still know what was up. So shout out to her for getting what she deserved. But that's the long game that we have to play when you live by respect, power, and then money. Understanding that we in this capitalist world, you got to get to money. You know, it ain't because I'm out here right now. As I tell y'all every day. You see me in this seat, more than likely, I'm going to tell you if I'm doing something different, because I want you to know, hey, man, I'm about to go do this event. It's going to be some content. Stay tuned for that. I will be editing it up. You're going to love this, that, then, but other than that, I'm chopping it up on my way to drop something off and get that little bit of money from this courier life. But I know that every time I go live for y'all, those who appreciate it, the more loyal I get my folks. I look at my numbers, and I love seeing the numbers because it gives me the hope that it's true. It ain't just hope for hope's sake. It's true hope. It's when I can say, oh man, look at that. I didn't even have, that's 20 times what I had this time a few months ago or whatever, in the number of people who are actually watching and enjoying. Thanks for the thumbs up too, by the way. Appreciate that. 8 watching, we ought to have 8 thumbs up. Let's do it. If you can hear my voice, hit that button right now. Thank you. So, to make my point the ugliest way I can make it about folks who live by money first and get caught up. One of my homeboys sent me this thing just the other day, and I was like, it was devastating. The word devastator's in my mind too, because side note, not related to this, but just the word devastation, devastate, all that's kind of in my head, because that Devastator transformer is off the damn chain, and I posted about that recently, and you'll see that I did a reaction video to that new statue that came out, and they debuted it at Comic-Con. If you've seen about that, if you're a fan of all that, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, my point was going to say this, right? So, and what the hell, somebody, wait a minute, see, I can't read that much. If you're going to make a comment, first of all, I know you got to be a subscriber, so I want to see what you're talking about, but okay, here we go, stoplight, so I can, well, not for long, got to go. All right, ain't got time to read it right now. So I don't know what you're saying, I just know it's long. I can see a big old chunk of words, and I can't be looking at that right now. But I can say this, staying on point, not going on a tangent here. Wait a minute, what the hell? Okay, yeah, I don't know what that is. Oh man, wow, damn. Woo woo. Yeah, we got some specials. We got some real specials over here. Oh my gosh, have mercy. Boy, there's some interesting people be on the internet. I'm trying to tell you something. Don't think you out here with everybody else playing with a full deck of cards. We all on different levels. I'm here to tell you. I'll just say, we all kind of crazy in a crazy world, but just don't be insane. That's all I can just say. I don't know what the hell folks are writing. And I'm not even mad about this. This don't even look like trolling. This just looks like pure, yeah, something wrong. That's all I can say, something wrong. Damn. Oh man, take your medicine. That's all I can say. Take your medicine, please. If you own something, take it. Whatever it is, whatever they gave you, please take it. Please, thank you. Wow. So, I was gonna say this. I was talking about, somebody sent me something that was real disturbing, because it kind of made a point about how stuff can be very weird, and folks can put themselves in weird situations, okay? There was a young lady, or is a young lady, and I don't know her name. I don't know who this is. All I know is it's one of these popular podcasts. Like, I mean, there's so many damn podcasts. So, I mean, I've done podcasts. I do podcasts. Technically, this is a podcast. You know what I'm saying? If I'm talking to y'all and y'all listening, it's a podcast. I ain't got to have a guest. I ain't got to have a fancy microphone. I ain't got to have a studio in my basement somewhere in a big fancy house with a bunch of glowing lights behind me. And no, I don't need all that to call it a podcast, right? But anyway, which is why when I do this, I call this a ride cast. You may have noticed that in some of my previous thumbnails when I do take the time to put that on there, because sometimes I do so many of these because I go live every day. I honestly don't always make a thumbnail for my lives. Man, if you were there, you were there. You know what I'm saying? Because I always get my average of about 50 plus people. Sometimes they hit 100 and something. And they dip in and they dip out like y'all doing right now. You know what I'm saying? It'll be 2 watching, it'll be 1 watching, it'll be 10 watching, it'll be 20. And it just come and go. So I don't worry about that. I do what I gotta do and keep it pushing, right? But this podcast is a young lady, 2 very attractive young ladies. One is the host, one is the guest. The one who's the guest, I'm gonna describe her, and if that may ring a bell on somebody who knows who some of these folks are. I know she had to be in her 20s maybe, because she mentioned something about her age when she was younger, and she said 18 or something. She's not that young no more. She got to be 20 something now. But that was her point. She was telling a story about how when she was younger, she met this girl who became a good friend of hers, and they were both little party girls in New York. Sound like she's from New York. She definitely had a New York accent. And she had her hair, or her wig or her weave, because you don't know if that's hers or not the way it looked, to be honest. But it was like silvery looking, and I know it's not her natural hair. She ain't got no damn gray hair. I don't care what your genes are. You ain't got a full head of silver, purplish. It was doing some real stuff with the color. It actually looked good on her, but at the same time, it's kind of ridiculous because it's like, okay, here we go again with the weaves and the lace fronts and all that, which I ain't gonna front. If it looks good on you, it looks good on you, but I'm not about to give you, put it like this. Natural hair versus any of that stuff always wins, especially if it's long, in my book. That's my thing. I love long hair on a lady, and I like it to be real. I'm not impressed as much. I might be impressed enough to say, okay, you pick something that at least looks good on you, but I don't want to see them damn weaves and wigs and lace fronts. And as the older I get, I'm more and more, and I'm not, I've dated some ladies who had all that. They did all that and had my fun with it, but I had to be with somebody who understood I'm gonna tease you about that, because I don't like that, right? Like, we had to be able to get that joke in and she not be offended, And they were the kind that would be real enough, like, it's okay, baby, when we do what we do, just throw it across the room if you get tired of, Good times. Anyway, listen. So this young lady's telling her story, and she's talking about how she wanted to go, like, the girl who she would hang out with was always had a lot of money. They go together for spa days and getting their pet and nails and stuff done and hair and everything done on her tab. Like, the friend always like, let me take you out, girl, let me treat you. And so she's like, describing this like she got enamored with the life and started thinking, well, how you getting all this money? What you do? And you always traveling. She wanted to use this always somewhere else, always getting another passport stamp, always being able to go wherever she want, when she want. And the girl said, well, come hang out with me one time and I'll show you what it's about. And they went to some club, and then she did mention New York. She said, this is in New York. And because there was 2 parts of this video, I saw the homeboy I got sent me this joint. He sent part 2. So when I looked up the source, I found the first part, and I watched that too, and I was just like, oh my gosh. But she said that her and this girl started going to some underground parties, some old, P. Diddy level stuff. Okay, some baby oil and freak off type BS going on, right? And she didn't know that it went that deep. But she said she didn't get caught up while she was there because there was a place for you to just observe. You didn't have to participate. But I was like, yeah, right. They were just buttering you up. They ain't trying to hit you when you first come in the door. The devil don't, like the vampire don't bite you until you invite them in, right? They're going to invite you in. They're going to get you cozy. And then they're going, they seasoning the damn blood. Then they gonna bite. That's when the vampire gonna bite, right? So, you know, it's that kind of mess, right? And she described it like, it was just disgusting, y'all. It was the craziest ish I done heard in a while. But she said basically, these rich dudes pay money to defecate and urinate on these pretty women. Preferably the younger the better. Younger little hotties, young sexy things. And she said that, I think she said at the time she was like 18, 19, now she like 20 something, but she said she was just in awe. Like the whole thing was just, you know, so shocking to her and all this, right? So she's telling it from the standpoint of, you know, it just being a wild night or whatever. So she said it was some time later, I don't know how much time later, but the same friend that got her to go see all of that was about to go to Dubai. And you know how people always talk about Dubai, Dubai, Dubai.